You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Oh, hey, Taylor. How are you?
Hey.
Hello, Taylor.
Hey, Keith.
Hi.
How you doing? Hey, Alan.
How are you? Glad to meet you.
Alan Lee's the trusty sidekick.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, is this your first Zoom interview?
No, I don't know. I guess it is.
All right, man.
I've done a lot of phone interviews, but so are you going to record it and then play the whole thing? How's this going to work?
I think it's recording now. It's Zoom.
Yeah, I know that's what it says. But I mean, when
Audio.
you do your podcast, do you show the video or just the vocal?
No.
Audio.
We could show the video if you want. I just uploaded on vocal.
No, I just didn't know what your normal plan was.
No, usually we go in the studio and we do Facebook Live, but we don't promote the video.
We're not on air now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
I don't know if you could tell, but we're not really good-looking dudes.
You guys look great to me, man.
So,
Both of you.
Yeah, so I want to record this on a tape recorder just in case it doesn't, like, I don't know. I'm not very technology savvy.
I'm not either.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so I got it recorded on the tape recorder too. So Taylor Nichols, how are you, pal?
I'm good, you guys. It's good to be with y'all.
Yeah. I don't mean to, like, I don't like to go fanboy-ish, but Mind of a Married Man is one of my favorite TV shows.
You know, very fun TV show. We really had a lot of fun doing it. It was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And you know what's also really interesting about that show? It was an HBO show. It was a half hour, one camera, which now is very common. But at the time in 2000, 2001, 2, 3, it was not very common to do a half hour comedy. But also the very first day the show aired was Tuesday, September 11th, 2001.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, because that was one question I actually had for you, because I was going to say, do you think Mind of the Married Man was ahead of its time? Because it was basically like the boy version of Sex in the City.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think it was ahead of its time. I also think right after 9/11, no one wants to see a show about a guy who wants to cheat on his beautiful wife.
Yeah.
I mean, we were looking for more serious things. Mike Binder, the creator of the show, is really talented and really funny and a really hard worker, but sophomoric in his sense of humor. And that just didn't play well right at that time, I don't think.
You want to hear this might actually freak you out a little, but I have this superpower called Asperger's syndrome.
Uh-huh.
And you want to hear a crazy fact that connects you with Mike Binder?
What?
Okay. Mike Binder did a movie called Minority Report, and you guest starred on Minority Report.
Right. Very good. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Mike was great in that movie too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I got to tell you, Keith, I love how you put it. You've got this superhero thing, Asperger's, because I deal with an issue also. I'm a stutterer, and always have, and from as long as I can remember. And it was a real problem when I was young, in high school and in college and things like that. And I think most people would look at that and say, well, you can't be an actor. You know,
Yeah.
you stutter. And it took a lot of time and a few important relationships for me to understand that my stutter is actually a gift in a bizarre way, that I wouldn't call it superhero stuff, but it does make me unique and special. Of course, I'm special anyways, right? That's what my mom would say.
Yeah, my mom said that too.
That I'm special?
She said that too, yeah. But how is that? Because like with autism, going on auditions, and I don't know if you know this, but I specialize in stand-up comedy.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a stand-up comic. Acting, I'm not like in anything, but I guess you could say I do acting. But it's hard for me to go on auditions because I could talk to like 2 or 3 people at a time, but like several people, I'm all like,
Yeah.
you know? So how was that with you with your stuttering? Like, was auditions hard getting past
Yes.
that?
Yeah. I used to, when I first got an audition, the first thing I would look for is, are there words that I think I will have trouble speaking?
Uh-huh.
Are there sounds or words or a combination of sounds and words that I might stutter on? I no longer, look at that as the first thing, but I'm still aware of it. If there's certain words are difficult, I'm going to stutter right now. Corroboration.
Mhm.
I mean, I luckily I don't have to say it very often, but if I have to corroborate a story of a crime, I get nervous and anxiety ridden about having to say that. And, that's the opposite of what the character would do. So
Right.
that's a really interesting dynamic for the actor to have to deal with,
Mhm.
is how do they stay in character
Mhm.
and still deal with that? And it's taken me a long time to kind of figure it out and to work with it and to make it my own. There's no reason that the coroner can't stutter a little bit, or there's no reason that the detective can't, or the father, or the brother, or the accused of the crime, or whatever role I'm playing, can't also not have perfectly fluent speech.
Yeah. Sometimes like when I get like sides to read for an audition and I don't know what the word means and I don't know how to say the word, I'll just say it really fast like I know what it is.
Methods, the method acting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll be like, we gotta get John off the airplane. We gotta get him off the airplane.
Yeah. But I think the industry is more open to the uniqueness of different actors. Certainly in the LGBTQ community and in minorities, taking a bigger role on the small and big screen. I think it's really wonderful. Acting and storytelling and movies and TV are really supposed to be mirrors onto society. I mean, isn't that what Hamlet says? How does the speech go? To hold up as 'twere a mirror. In his Speak the Speech that he does, where he talks about acting, he says what we're really doing is just holding a mirror up to ourselves. And the more we are inclusive of all of the people that we see, the better the stories are.
A question I had is, how has the business changed from like the 90s to now? Because
We don't get paid as much. Full stop. We don't get paid as much.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I'm teasing, but I'm also dead serious. We don't get paid as much, and that's a problem. I'm a middle class actor. It's one thing for Brad Pitt to make 18 million rather than 20 million, or 1 million rather than 3 million. But it's another thing for a guy with a couple of kids in college and, a mortgage and a career as an actor to all of a sudden be working for really, a third of what we used to get. Maybe we were overpaid in the 90s, or maybe the corporatization of the industry has just made actors actors, not movie stars, a less important part of the puzzle.
I don't mean to like use my Asperger talent again on you, but I think this would really impress you. Do you want to know how you and Brad Pitt are connected?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. So you starred in *I Am the Married Man* with my favorite actor ever. I mean, I love you, but Jake Weber.
Sure.
And Jake Weber starred in *Meet Joe Black* with Brad Pitt.
Right. Very good. So that means my 6 degrees of separation is down to what, 2?
But no, I mean, it was just right when you said Brad Pitt. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's it like working with Jake Weber, man?
Oh, Jake's great. You know, it's funny. I haven't seen Jake in a few years, but Jake is great. I loved his work on Medium.
Oh my God, yeah.
Also, and you know, he's just a very natural presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have been trying to get him on the show. I've been like doing like emails and stuff, and he's very nice, but he's very private. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like talking and all that stuff. So I invited him to a show, and he said he would go, and then Corona happened. I was like, oh,
It's screwing up everything, isn't it?
yeah, messed up my chances to get Jake Weber to fall in love with me.
Right, there you go.
But Bobby Slayton was on My and the Married Man, and I opened up for Bobby.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
I actually saw Bobby recently at one of the canyons here, and I still think about some of his comedy bits.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. One of the great things about working on Mind of the Married Man was a lot of comedians came through the door. Kevin Pollak was on the show, and some other really wonderful comedians. But even ones, Miller, come on, what's his name, Miller?
Dennis Miller?
No,
Jim Miller?
no.
Mike
Kind of
Miller?
It doesn't matter. I'll think of it in a minute. But even ones who weren't on the show came to the set and hung out with Mike and met everybody, and so it was really a fun, invigorating show to be on.
How many episodes did Mike write? Because I know Rich Scheider wrote a couple.
Mike wrote most of them. I think
Right.
even the ones that Rich wrote, because I liked Rich a lot. I wrote a script for the show that never got produced because the show got canceled. I think a season or two too early. But Mike had his hand in everything. Other people may have written the bones of the scripts, but Mike got in there and worked his own magic on it, as well as with directors too. We had a lot of really wonderful directors. Bruce Paltrow and Bob Saget directed, and
Yeah.
just a lot of great people. Fun to be with. You know, it's really interesting. When we did that show, we were never satisfied with the work we had done. We always were like, let's do one more take. Let's do one more take. We can add this. We can do this. We can make it funnier. Try this line. Try that line. So it was just a constant on the set of trying to raise the work higher, you know, and funnier and all that. And once the show ended, I went and got a guest job on another show. And the attitude was so completely different. It was like, are we done yet? Can we go home now?
Yeah.
Don't you have what you need? And it was such a disappointment to come from this really energetic, you know, I don't know, you know, I'm blanking on words,
Right.
work environment to a very kind of tired, you know, environment where people just wanted to cash their checks and go home.
Now you were the star of a couple movies in the top billed star on Walt Whitman movies in the early '90s.
Whit Stillman.
Whitson, yeah,
Whit
and-
Stillman.
yeah, and then you did supporting character roles in the '90s, and then a star in My and the Married Man. Like how did that vibe go from star to supporting? Like, did that throw you off at all?
You know, that's a great question, Keith. I've never been asked that before. It's interesting. I believe the work is the work, you
Right.
know, and you do the best work you can as number 1 on the call sheet as you do as number 15 on the call sheet. I just finished shooting Perry Mason, and I was number 15 on the call sheet. The work is the same.
Yeah.
And good directors and good producers treat everyone the same. And they certainly did it on Perry Mason. Matthew Rhys was number 1 on the call sheet, and he treated everybody like they were number 1 with him on the call sheet. Tatiana Maslany, the same, you know. But not all shows do that.
Right.
And not all directors and producers and not all number 1s on the call sheet do that.
Yeah.
And then it is a little different. I'm there when I'm doing a supporting role. I'm there not only to do my work, but ultimately to support the number 1, 2, 3 storyline. And sometimes you don't get
The
the
support
respect.
back.
I'm sorry?
The support back.
The support back and the respect. And that eats away at you a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe that's silly, or maybe that's because I've been number 1, 2, a bunch of times on projects, and I know how it is. And I like to feel like when I'm in the main role, I want everyone else to be absolutely as great as they can be, because I understand that they actually make me better when they're great.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson I learned from James Garner. I don't know if your audience is old or young, they may not remember James Garner, but he was Hollywood royalty in the 50s and 60s and stuff, and then went on to be TV royalty on Rockford Files and things like that. But I did my first TV job was with him. I was a series regular on a show called Man of the People with it was a great cast: George Weiner, Kate Mulgrew.
It was one season.
I'm sorry? It was only one season, correct.
Yeah.
Which is really too bad, because it was a very funny show. But the lesson I learned from Garner was you want everybody else to shine, because when everyone else shines, it makes the star even brighter.
Yeah.
And he was a real gem.
Mm-hmm.
When you were in because I actually watched this the other day. I watched The American President.
Oh yeah.
And man, you just gave Richard Dreyfuss like the bad news about the president's girlfriend.
Right.
So, like I don't know, like your scene was only maybe a minute, but you were the bad guy in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. That's an interesting story. I had just done Barcelona, which was also a Castle Rock project, and Rob Reiner invited me in for a little meeting to talk about American President. And he said, well, which role, would you want to do? And I said, the Michael Keaton role. Not Michael Keaton.
Michael J. Fox.
The Michael J. Fox role.
That would have been a great role for you.
Yeah, he said, yeah, that's already cast with, Michael J. Fox. And I of course, laughed and understood. But there were 2 other roles that were right for me. This Stu, Richard Dreyfuss's aide, who was the bad guy, and the role that Josh Malina played. I don't know if you remember Josh Malina, really wonderful actor. And that was a role that was really suited to me, I thought. And I chose the other one. I chose Stu, the bad guy, because I'd always played good guys.
Right.
And I wanted to try my hand at, kind of a bad guy. And so I'm glad that you look back at that and see that, because ultimately I think it was a mistake. I think I should have taken the other role. Not only did it work more days and pay more and have more screen time, it was a better fit for me.
Right.
And I think early in your career, you have to nail down who you are on camera.
Right.
And then branch out and play the pervert, the bad guy, the killer, the whatever.
Well, you got to think about, like, I think as an actor choice, that was actually a smart move, because that move was the whole plot of the second act.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So, like, you can't watch it without being like, oh, yeah, well, I set that up. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're right.
So, another question is, I don't know if this is true, but this is just what I heard through the grapevine. So I was wondering if you could, like, clear it out. I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, and I know Alan is, and there's a rumor that you auditioned for it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I auditioned for Bryan Cranston's role.
Oh, God.
And but that's common on a show like that. The casting director of that series is Sharon Bialy, or was Sharon Bialy and Sherry Thomas, Bialy Thomas Casting, and they are really one of the best casting companies in town because they really like actors.
Right.
And they really support actors. And so it's common that Sharon, I think Sharon cast that, not Sherry, but it's common that Sharon would bring in and show Vince, a lot of different choices for that main role. And I can remember reading for it and meeting Vince and really being pleased with my work and with the feedback I got. And remember being disappointed I didn't get it. But then when you see Brian in the role, you go, oh, well, of course. Brian's just so wonderful in the role. And I think I would have been good and unique, but I wouldn't have been Brian. And Brian is just wonderful. And, so Vince picked what he thought was right, and I think he was right.
Yeah. But when you see it, do you ever just like think in the back of your head, like, you should have picked me?
I've watched it. I've never watched it. Not that I'm petty and bitter. I'm not. I'm teasing.
But did you use that style? Because the name of the movie is blanking on me, but you were a lead in this movie. It was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it was a horror movie about this girl who moved in to an apartment.
Oh, one BR.
Yeah. Like, did you use that style? Because it seemed like it's a dark character too.
Yeah, it was a dark character. As I've gotten older, I've played a lot of darker characters. There is definitely stereotyping. And I think we're starting to break out of that. But I've been stereotyped a little bit lately in playing, sleazy guys and bad guys and, stuff like that, which is fun. I really enjoy doing it. But no, I didn't base, that character's name was Jerry, and that was a horror film, not really a horror film, but more of a psychological thriller by a director named David Marmer, who was great. And I read the script and I just kind of knew who the guy was. And I did not think about Breaking Bad or anything like that in doing that movie. No.
Alan, you got a question for Taylor?
Oh, I was gonna wait on this one, but with the CGI and the green screen system, where and this is amazing because I'm going back to acting, but I love this because obviously you don't have to shoot a scene in the Sahara Desert. You can just do it with the green screen. And when I saw those shots of actors, I think it was 100 Spartans, and he's just on a step ladder.
Right.
He's going like this, and he's climbing up to the side of a mountain. These classes. Use your imagination and see. So we're on the set. I don't have to see the coffee cup.
Right.
But now you've got God Almighty, that mountain. And do you find that everyone is like honed, sort of up on their craft or up on their level of using their skills of imagination now? It's always there. I'm not saying that they throw it out because of CGI, but do you find that people are like really digging deep in their skills of imagining a set that's not there?
Are you talking now in the pandemic, you mean, or just in general?
Maybe so. No, just in general. Yeah.
Yeah. I teach acting, and one of the things I teach is that acting has kind of 4 cornerstones: relaxation, concentration, imagination, and preparation.
Yeah.
And I always talk about the imagination aspect of the work. And that's what I really encourage students and myself to really get into. Because Meryl Streep has a fabulous imagination.
Sure.
That Michael B. Jordan has a fabulous imagination. You see it in their work, whether they're doing a green screen of climbing a mountain, or whether they're pointing a gun at somebody, or whether they're saying, I love you. Mm-hmm. Or I have to ask you for a divorce, or whoever, whatever the line is. Mm-hmm. So I'm working on tapping into my imagination more, and that's certainly what I teach students. Mm-hmm. And I think good actors just do it.
Yeah.
Acting is ultimately living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And whether it's a green screen of a mountain or, like I said earlier, breaking up with your wife of 20 years on camera, for a story, you have to use your imagination because we can't live everything. And we don't want to live everything. And so I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh, I think you did. You just got to use what you have. But I noticed behind you, there's some nice visuals of some very, very nice art there. And there it is.
Yeah. Well, also here, let me show you another one.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
I love that shot of all the women looking at the blank screen.
Oh, that's exactly what we're talking. My God.
Joe DiMaggio.
DiMaggio. Is that Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali looking in the mirror. I just love the shot of Muhammad Ali looking in the mirror.
There you go. There's that imagination.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a tour of my dining room.
Well, I like that. Thank you, sir.
Unfortunately, the folks won't be able to see that. But
Right.
Taylor, I have a question. Was that the longest question Alan ever asked you?
I like language. I'm sick of it. I like language. Pardon me.
Sure.
I'd like to corroborate that for me.
Yeah.
If you would.
So, where do you teach acting at? Like, can
Yes.
folks
I want the next
sign
question.
up?
Yeah. I teach a class at UCLA in their professional training program, but I also have my own class. Taylor Nichols acting workshop, and we have been meeting online for the past couple of months because of the pandemic. But previous to that, we would meet in person once a week.
Oh,
And, I really like to mix art and business in the class, and I try to kind of focus how we do our work so that we can then meet the people that we need to meet and show them and all that. Because just acting in class is not enough. You have to actually put yourself out there.
now a question that I had, as an acting teacher and also as a professional actor who's, done so many various roles, can you spot talent while you're teaching them? Or do you think or there's some people where you think, okay, they're nice people, but they're not hitting the glove. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Again, that's a great question, Keith. Bob Fosse, one of my favorite movies is All That Jazz. One of Bob Fosse's movies. He only directed like 5 movies before he died. But there's a great line in that movie that apparently is attributed to what he used to say to dancers. Bob Fosse was a very big choreographer on Broadway and a director on Broadway, and then a movie director. He did Cabaret, Star 80, All That Jazz, Sweet Charity, and Lenny, the movie about Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce.
Wow. And he had this great comment that said, about dancers, I can't make you a great dancer, but I can make you a better dancer. And I kind of feel that is true with acting. And I'm not saying me as a teacher, I'm saying all teachers, teachers can't make you great.
Yeah.
You got to do that on your own. But teachers can make you better. And I feel that a lot about my students, about, I can make you better.
Yeah.
And, William Goldman has the great line, in this business, nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
And, we all know the story that Robin Williams was kicked out of Juilliard and all that. So I don't necessarily think I can look at an actor in my class and say, this person's going to be a star, this person's never going to work, because no one does know anything in this business,
Right.
I have a student in my class that is kind of unique and goofy, and I just think he's wonderful.
Oh, well, thanks, Taylor.
Yeah. But I think when he finds his niche, he's gonna start working.
Yeah.
And really work.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be hard to find his niche. That's a hard thing. And I think I can make him better so that when he does have the opportunity, he hits it. because he's not a leading man. He's not a 6'2" strapping Hollywood actor.
Yeah.
You know,
He's a Jake Weber.
he's a Jake Weber.
I just got a thing saying the Zoom meeting will end in 10 minutes. What does that mean?
No, I think it means that the Zoom meeting will end in 10 minutes.
Oh.
A simple literal interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay, so we should probably wrap this up then. Taylor, do you I know you've directed stuff before, but do you have any desire to continue doing that? Because the last thing you directed was, I don't know, 10 years ago?
Yeah, well, I direct a lot of theater, and I've been doing that. But you're right. I made a couple of short films. One with the actor Jay Thomas. I don't know if you guys remember Jay Thomas. Really great. Called Two Heterosexual Men Get Ready to Go Out. One has a girlfriend. And it's a very funny film. And then I made another one called Last Train, which is almost a silent film. And I'm very drawn to it. And I have a project called The Beautiful Dark, written by it's the Beautiful Dark, and it's a beautiful. I'm just completely blanking on the writer's name, and he's so great.
Rich Scheider.
Oh yeah, Rich. And I've made a lookbook for it, and I have great ideas for casting, and it's a wonderful story. It's about a woman who's afraid her son, who's in college, who's college age, is going to commit an act of violence, and it's about the love and support parents can offer their children when they're afraid they might do a school shooting. Yeah. And so I think it's a very timely film. I really love it, and I'm hoping when the pandemic eases, I can set this up and do it, because I would very much like to direct it and see it made.
Oh, well, if you ever need two ugly dudes, we're here.
Stop. You guys are great.
Someone just puts himself into your movie on a podcast.
Right.
You got to make connections.
Exactly right.
But no, have you ever thought about writing a play?
I'm not a writer.
Oh, really?
I've written a few scripts with people, and I've done some writing, and and I enjoy it. I'm just not that good at it. And I think other people are better. Not that I don't have good ideas about how to add to a story or this or that, but writing's really hard, and I really respect writers. And there are people better than me to write the story, I think.
Yeah. Well, I actually wrote a script, and believe it or not, there's a part in it for you. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
But when this whole pandemic is, I'll send it to you. You might decline it, but I just want you to know it's yours.
Well, I believe in work breeds work. I believe in actors' work. I'm a huge Buster Keaton fan, and that's what Buster Keaton always said. He always said, actors' work. That's what they do.
But it's a romantic comedy. Have you ever done a romantic comedy?
I would say Barcelona is kind of a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Trying to think about, I know, and I should. goddammit, I'm very romantic.
That's what I said when I wrote this. I said Taylor's very romantic.
Right.
But all right, two last questions, and then we'll go, because I just got a meeting saying Zoom endings in 5 minutes. But the one question I had is, when this pandemic's over, you're on a show right now called It's Pen 15, but I read it as Penis.
Of course, yeah.
Does everyone else read it like Penis too?
Well, I think that's the whole point of the show.
Oh,
it's a show about 7th grade girls, and they think that's so funny when they write Pen 15 and it looks like the word penis. It's a hysterical show. The two women who are the creators of it have done a really nice job, and it's fun to be on. The woman who plays my wife, Melora Walters, is great to work with, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And I don't know when this is going to air, your podcast, but it's August now, August of 2020, and the first air date for season 2 is September 18th.
Oh, okay. We'll definitely get this aired before that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
we'll tell the folks to watch it. And the last question I had, Alan, do you have a final question before Taylor, before I end?
Well, Taylor, when you referenced when I was talking about the green screen, you said, "Do you mean the pandemic?" Did you mean that there's more use of it?
Well, I don't know that there's more use of the green screen, but there's more use of me being here acting and you being there acting. Meaning that, we don't get to actually look in each other's eyes. I just did this reading of a really wonderful play called All the Good in the World, and all the actors were in their own homes acting with each other. And it kind of works.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
All right, Taylor. Well, here's my final question because we only have 3 minutes left. But my final question is, when this pandemic's over, do you enjoy stand-up comedy? Because I would love for you to come watch me sometime.
I would love to. I do enjoy it. Yeah. I would love to come watch it.
All right, cool.
That's the one thing I'm scared shitless of. Snakes and stand-up comedy.
Well, we could get together, have lunch, and write a whole stutter bit for you.
Perfect.
Well, Taylor, where can the folks at home follow you and support you?
Taylor Nichols Acting Workshop. I'm on, I don't have any Instagram followers. I have a fair amount of Twitter followers.
Taylor, I follow you on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay. I don't use it all that much because I try to get this goddamn thing out of my life a little bit. I was holding up my telephone for anyone who didn't see. So that's about it, I guess.
All right. Well, Taylor, thanks for doing the show, man. I hope you had fun.
I did. I had a lot of fun.
All right, buddy. Well, have a great day and stay healthy and stay safe.
Perfect. Alan, thanks. Keith, thanks, man.
Taylor, I hope to see you.
We'll talk to you later, buddy.
You too. Goodbye, you guys.
Bye. All right. That was Taylor Nichols, guys. And subscribe, rate, and review to the show. It says 1 minute remaining. Zoom is all weird. Taylor's waving. I think he's off. He's just left. Alan, we got 1 minute remaining. Thanks so much for doing the show. It was a great show, wasn't it?
This was a hoot. This was a party. We went to a party. And, I might have to hit up Taylor for acting classes.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'm not kidding.
You want to be an actor? Hit up Taylor. Oh, dude, we got to go. Okay, subscribe, rate, review. Buy my special. Rate for Riffs. All right. Support Taylor Nichols. Got to go. Wait, hold on.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.